So when you think about the New York Knicks right now, it's natural for your mind to go to Kristaps Porzingis, as he has elevated himself to one of the best players in the NBA, and he has Madison Square Garden rocking every single time the Knicks play there. And it would make sense for your next thought to go to Frank Ntilikina, the rookie who they believe will be their point guard of the future, who keeps showing good signs almost every single time he goes out there to play. And hell, your third thought might even be Enes Kanter, who grabs 1 million rebounds a game and seemingly always has something to say, as LeBron James would. But Kanter has been a really good spirit for the Knicks this season. But what we're going to talk about is the closet MVP of this team in Courtney Lee, the starting shooting guard who has shown a great balance between defense, three-point shooting, veteran leadership, and just being one of those guys that every single NBA team wants. Now, as far as why Courtney Lee has been on so many teams in his NBA career, it's a little confusing to me. And we're just going to start with the defense. Look how Courtney Lee comes out of nowhere to contest that shot by Tobias Harris off of the offensive rebounds. Right here at half court, he takes a quick little swipe at Reggie Jackson, which doesn't end up making a huge difference. But those little plays, the attention to detail like that on defense, is what separates average defenders from good defenders. There he gets around 2 screens. Courtney Lee has been a very good defender for basically his entire career. And the same thing is happening with the New York Knicks. Again, reaches for Stanley Johnson. He gets called for a foul that I don't entirely know about, but that is one thing I do like that defenders will do, is they'll help someone who gets beat off of a dribble. Here he nearly messes up by miscommunicating with Frank Ntilikina, but he gets back to defend Ish Smith's pull-up jumper. Here he, just gets a steal out in the passing lane. Courtney Lee said before the season that he believed the Knicks had the potential to be a good defensive team. He's definitely doing his part, gets around 2 screens to lock up Luke Kennard, and the Pistons have to go somewhere else with it. Here he's on Kennard once again. The rookie doesn't have many places to go with Courtney Lee on him. In this game against the Pistons, I do wish Jeff Hornacek had Courtney Lee defend Reggie Jackson at times. I think that could have helped them down the stretch. On this play here, he makes the last-ditch effort to get a contest on Reggie Jackson's three-point shot. Lee is so good at just getting around screens. Here, he just locks up the roll man for a split second just to slow down his progress. I'll admit, not all of these are super glamorous like blocks and steals, but they're the little things that make a difference on defense. Now, he's not perfect. Here, he just falls asleep and allows Reggie Bullock to get an open three-pointer. And then here, Bullock beats him off of a cut. So it's not like we're super biased here. I will point out when the guy messes up, and he does mess up a couple times because nobody's perfect. Here, contests Tobias Harris, then gets back to contest the jumper, but Reggie Bullock was feeling himself at that point. Here, he's able to cut off Reggie Jackson and then get back to the shot at the three-point line. The Knicks are 15th in defense right now. If Lee was not on this team, I gotta assume it'd be a little bit lower. There are other good defenders in this team, but Lee's definitely making a difference. Now we can get to his offense, which I think has been better this season than it's potentially ever been in his career. The threes are pretty legit. Lee's always been good from 3. This season, about 4 threes a game, shooting 43% from out there. And he's not just a spot shooter. Sure, there are going to be times when he just spots up in the corner and that's about it, but as you'll see in some of these clips, he has shown an ability of coming off of screens or even taking some pull-up threes sometimes. But even if he's just simply standing in the corner and spacing the floor out, allowing ball handlers to get inside, that's great as well. Because when you have a great post-up player like Porzingis, just having as many dudes like this is a great thing. And Lee, there's a pull-up 3 right there. Another pull-up 3 on this one. His aggressiveness is like, he's aggressively patient or something. Now, this offensive play at the end of the Pistons game, that one was pretty bad, as he over-dribbled and then threw it to Porzingis with about 2 seconds left. But we can also say some good things about Courtney Lee that might not always go noticed. The extra pass to Lance Thomas, he's just not able to convert it. This one here, we're going to get Courtney Lee in a pick-and-roll situation with Kyle O'Quinn, and then he gets the shot over Anthony Tolliver. I think Courtney Lee's ball handling has improved as his career has gone along. Sure, you're not going to ask him to run your offense, but in certain situations, if he finds himself with the ability to make a play, he can actually do something about it. And I think this play right here shows his smarts. You'll notice Lee on the bottom of your screen. As the ball gets wrestled away, once he realizes that they have possession, look how he gets right back to the corner for a wide open three that they just didn't find him with. But to be able to find yourself wide open in that sort of a scuffle, I mean, that's a big thing. But his mid-range has also been really good as well. Everything within the three-point line, Lee's been efficient from just everywhere on the floor. He's shooting 44% from floater range, 44% from 10 to 16 feet. His long twos are a little worse at 31%, so as long as he can get just a little bit inside the three-point line to where it's not just like a 21-footer, then it seems like he's going to be okay. So now you have a guy who, sure, there are going to be some nights where he only puts up 6-7 points, because he's not a shoot-first kind of guy. He's going to keep the offense moving, and he's going to focus on defense and hitting open shots. But at times, he can hit some pull-up jumpers. He can play in the pick and roll. He's averaging around 3 assists a game this season and not that many turnovers. And then you add to that the defense and everything. I mean, Lee's been a very good all-around player. Now, he's also doing some stuff on closeouts. I mentioned before how his ball handling has improved. He's beaten some guys off the bounce, and he's shooting 68% at the basket. So when he decides to go down there, good things are happening. You'd think with a shooting guard of his size, I mean, sure, he's 6'5", but he's not very athletic. You'd think that he'd be at risk of getting his shot blocked a lot. He finds a way, man. He just finds a way. Call it veteran savviness. Call it just getting more talented as a player as he's gotten older. Whatever you want, he's just figuring it out. An efficient 13-point scorer who may go a little unnoticed just because his numbers aren't going to always jump out at you. But if you watch Knicks games on a day-to-day basis, Courtney Lee's doing stuff. There have been rumors here and there about whether they should trade him to get a first-round pick or something. I would not do that because, I mean, at what point are you done tanking? You know, you got Porzingis, you got Ntilikina, Madison Square Garden's actually fun. I think you hold on to Courtney Lee, man. I think you ride it out with him because he's giving you a lot of great minutes. And so while the New York Knicks have a lot of things going for them this season with Porzingis and Ntilikina and Enes Kanter and them just being good again as a team, don't forget Courtney Lee, because his impact, while quiet, is pretty big.